So the Seven are coming back. And one thing I want to go over is something that I've heard for the last 3 years when we always talk about the possibility of the Seven returning. And people say, well, how can they return? All the Seven are confirmed dead. And that is a complete mistake and a misunderstanding of the events and how they played out. We obviously from this trailer see the Scientist, the Origin and the Visitor all get croaked.
I'm starting to think this may be a problem.
And something I've always said about this trailer is that it's an amalgamation of the events that occurred during Vibin, but this is missed on many people. It's like when I bring up the whole thing about the next season, where Amy locks onto the Scientist's location, also again confirming that at least the Scientist is still alive, and if he survived the Chroman, then every other member of the Seven also survived the Chroman. And something I've always said, that it is said literally in the quest lines for Vibin. Like, yes, the trailer comes out in season 4, but obviously Fortnite has to convey a storytelling element in the trailer. So sometimes I have to use elements of the season, what happened, why are we doing what we're doing next season for people who may not take part in the quest lines. Like, this is clear as day. I don't know why we have to keep going over this. Like, this is so clear. So clear.
I think the 0 point brought us an old 7 comms relay. We should collect it and try to contact the Scientist. It's dead. And I'll be honest, I've destroyed all of my dongles in several...
So the issue was they were trying to find the Scientist because the Seven or most of them had gone into hiding at this point. They were running scared.
Dark charging experiments. Oh, we could charge it by passing it through some quantum energy clouds. Put on the Scientist!
So Amy was unable to reach the Scientist, but they did eventually get a breakthrough with the paradigm.
I found the Scientist. He's in his underground biolab researching that strange substance spreading across the island. The Visitor is there too, along with the Origin. We've been
literally setting up the scene. Oh, the Visitor's there, you say? And the Origin? And the Scientist. Okay.
asked to find and bring some 7 gear to the lab. It sounds like we're going off grid. Nothing here. Nope. Nothing. This looks like what Mr. Big Blue and Responsible needs. I wonder what they're researching down there.
Paradigm finds them, realizing they're there. And then she does a few other things and then wonders what they're researching. Then the events of the trailer plays out. And then that's why you then get this message from Amy.
I need your help.
Slightly ahead. That's why you get this message from Paradigm saying I need your help. And then Amy says this.
Now. Amy, help them find the scientist's notes.
I wish it had been you!
So that clearly states that is after the events, and Paradigm is still trying to do things. Because she needs the scientist's notes. She now can't ask the scientist because he got chromed along with the Visitor and the Origin. So that's why she's trying to, like, I need notes, Amy. Get your head in gear. I need notes.
Notes! Get his notes. Those 0-point energy shockwaves were flares. A galactic distress signal. If we don't help, it'll go dormant.
And obviously this is where they get the plan for Zero Fusion. They try and continue the plan as all the 7 are gone and they need someone else. That's literally then what the scientists said before, and collects all the stuff needed for fusion. And then that's the last we see of Paradigm until she's around realities and we try to contact her through a tree.
Paradigm, if you're listening to this, it means I'm gone. I don't know where they took me, and I don't know if I'll be back. I promised we'd never leave you alone again, and I promised freeing the 0 point would be safe. Everything's my fault, so whatever happens to me, I deserve it. I programmed Amy to take care of you and whoever's left. I hope there are people left. I'm sorry.
And that's obviously because they need people left in order to carry out the plans that they had in place, which they now can't carry out because they're all gone. And that's why the 7 went. That's why the 7 needed to go. So when they come back, their return to the story is more impactful than not.
Like this.
Sorry, I turned off my external sensors to format my new solid-state drive, and now I can't find the Paradigm.
Because Paradigm went off-world. Because that's what we see, all what we see play out.
Okay, I'm over it. Vendetta buddies?
And that's where you have all this play out.
There has has to be a way to fix this.
Which is scientist notes, zero fusion, and then obviously us trying to get the dormant 0 point to kick back into gear, but kicking back into gear caused the zero shards to split, and now we're here where we are now. So Paradigm in Paradise does leave us with some bits and pieces to go on, like where she mentions the nothing.
No second chances here. The nothing is...
And we don't know what she's... There will be no second chances here. The nothing is coming and is strong. Who knows at this point. She also says this, which I have kind of a theory for, which then relates to some information that we found out in chapter 4.
If there's a way through this, we'll need to know everything about
the...
Starting with the chrome.
So, obviously, after chapter 4... So, after chapter 3, we went to chapter 4. We obviously got the Shapeless Man arc, Kato Fawn, but there was one bit of information that could have solved everything we needed to know in future events in anything that would have regards to the last reality, and I think that's what kind of would fit in here. If there's a way through this, we need to know everything about the army of the last reality, starting with the Chrome. I think it fits really well.
Through this, we'll need to know everything about this. Starting with the Chrome.
Well, we need to know everything about the nothing and the last reality, starting with the Chrome. Because obviously, it's an army of the last reality. Which we had on our plate. We had it all.
Oh, and all of our intel on the army of the last reality has been corrupted.
And that's where we find out that all the information that the Peace Syndicate had on the army of the last reality has just been corrupted. Which is funny, I guess. Corrupted. By this guy here, Triotnox. So we had it. Literally, Paradigm says we need to know everything about the army of the last reality, if that's indeed what she says during the bit that is slightly distorted. Which, because she's talking about the nothing prior, and then she's talking about the Chrome, I think it has to be the last reality, because obviously the nothing gives bites, you know, the warrior of the last reality, so it makes sense. So obviously anything that happens past this point, if we had the information and everything about the army of the last reality, then nothing would be a surprise, and that's the point. So what is the army of last reality future past this point or not? So you could argue, the spirit realm, the dark presence that we see, other villains that came about after that, Kato Fawn, Pandora's box, and Zeus and stuff, well, and they connect to the last reality. Like, we would have known all this if Triotnox didn't delete that said information right here, right now. Stage 6 of 7. Strange. I still think there's more to this computer that we find out in a little bit, like, I don't know. So if you go into this files, you can find information about members of the Peace Syndicate. And certain assets they were looking at are kind of weird if you knew what happened in Chapter 5. So 2 of the assets they were planning to talk to was Pearly, which they were planning to make an approach. They hadn't approached him yet. But the other one was Stashed. They were planning to recruit Stash. He was a getaway driver. But that same skin did get a Society streetwear in the following chapter. Which that following chapter also had the Society kidnapping Pearly. Which I don't know. To me, that sounds a bit too convenient for my liking. But I guess we have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, there was, you know, dotted about the story that it was definitely put across that the Seven and the Last Reality story was no way stopped. And it was even mentioned here that Last Reality is said.
Intel on the army of the last reality has been corrupted.
They literally said it. So we obviously was finding that information out for a reason. And that's why. That's why. The 7 aren't coming out of nowhere. Chapter 6 and 5 storyline isn't completely irrelevant. Even Chapter 4's and 3's. Obviously not 3's. That's where all the 7 went missing. Like, it was strategic to move away from the 7. And now, the longing for the 7 is greater because of how they've done it. Anyway, comment down below what you make of this. And until next time, it has been your boy, Mr. J. White. Next time, bye-bye.